Good afternoon, dear English teachers in Peru. My name is Pamela Salazar. I'm one of the administrators of this amazing community. Be all of you welcome on behalf of the administration team. Welcome to the spring webinar series. One more webinar today. Yeah, innovation and didactic strategies in English language teaching. The topic of today is a nice and interesting topic. It's titled Developing Listening Skills in the Classroom. But first, please don't forget to follow us on Facebook. There are a lot of members and followers also on WhatsApp, Telegram, YouTube, and TikTok. Please try to subscribe all our social network or social media. Yeah, because you will find different resources that are going to be very useful for you. Remember that in all our webinars, you need to follow some instructions, yeah? Let's see which they are. Remember that you have to type your questions in the comments section. They will be answered at the end of the presentation, yeah? The answers are going to be given at the end, but please remember that you have to write with respect, yeah? Of course, you have to be very attentive to what the speakers are saying. Remember that we are going to give the link of our exit of our webinar about the exit ticket. It will be done at the end of the webinar too. After the questions, yeah, we will share a link for you to have access to this, and it will be available for 15 minutes only. Yeah. Well, I think that the things are clear. Now, my dear Mr. David Cuadros, are you there?
Hello, Pamelita. How are you?
Okay, the floor is yours. I'm great. I'm great. I hope you are fine too. Well, my dear, the floor is yours, my dear David. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Okay, today we have an spectacular team of teachers from Ecuador. So we are English teachers in Peru, but for all over the world. Okay, so they are going to talk about an interesting topic, but let me introduce them. So in my right side is Marta Ogoño, who is an English teacher with a master's degree en Pedagogía de los Idiomas Nacionales y Extranjeros con mención en la enseñanza de inglés at Universidad Casa Grande. She has worked for 2 years as an English teacher at Universidad Técnica de Machala. Nowadays, she works at Colegio de Bachillerato Ismael Pérez Pazmiño as an EFL teacher and English academic coordinator. And the other hand, the other side, in the dark side, I guess, is Mr. Francisco Guamantica. He is the projector manager, translator, and English teacher with over 15-year experience in teaching to kids, adolescents, and adults, seeking to develop a stronger foundation for the development of the academic and professional skills necessary to teach English in any of the various teaching learning contexts. He works at the Colegio de Bachillerato Ismael Pérez. Well, Welcome, Mr. Francisco and Miss Ogoño. We are all ears.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Mariela Condorena, for your invitation. We are here in order to share our ways of teaching. So, first of all, let me say thank you very much to all our Peruvian friends, because I started brushing up on my skills with all of you. Thank you very much. Okay, here we are going to start our presentation. Let's share our material, Francisco.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, David, Marta. Thank you for this sharing, this opportunity to have a conversation, a webinar. We're going to share our experience, and I hope we can help you to deal with this beautiful and exciting career that is teaching English. Okay, I'm going to share what we prepared for you, guys. Just a minute.
Okay, once you are gonna share, let me greet our closer friends,
Okay.
Wilson Puno, Karin Ayona, Mariuxi Ramos is from Ecuador. So thank you for here. And we have more than 218 viewers. So it's amazing.
Okay. Can you confirm? Can you see that?
Yeah. It's
okay.
done.
Okay. Here we have a presentation. Okay, developing listening skills in the class. Okay, and this presentation can be heard by learners or teachers. Okay, because we are gonna share great ideas on how you can improve your listening activities or listening skills, and how to teach listening skills in the class. Okay, this presentation was prepared based on our experience, and we try to include everything that teacher is facing, that faced in the past and are facing now, and probably we're facing tomorrow.
That's
okay?
a great point. That's a great point due to our experience. As we mentioned before in our biodata, you were hearing, we have experience in public high schools. So we know something interesting things, and we can provide you some suggestions in order to face those problems.
Okay, we go ahead. Okay, well, it was not necessary to repeat, but well, my name is Francisco, and I work together with Marta in Colegio Bachillerato, Ismael Pérez Palmiño. We know each other from a lot of time, and we are here to help you, okay? So the agenda, I'm gonna read the agenda, and we are going to talk today, we are going to discuss about why to teach listening skills, okay? We are going to name some cases. The teaching mode, we are going to work on, to try to focus this on in-class situation or an online situation or blending situation, okay? Because that's what probably is, this situation is gonna be discussed. Your situation is gonna be discussed today here. And we are going to anticipate problems that we are facing, okay, in this teaching career. And we are gonna describe the problem. Marta and me, we're going to try to tell you what we are facing, what we faced in the past, and how we fix it, okay, through the solutions. Okay, anything to mention here, Marta?
Okay, as we know, in the teaching mode, we have the in-person class, and in the pandemic, we started with working with Zoom, Google Meet, and any other online websites. And the most interesting thing, so here in that time, we were working on some websites and apps. So here is the right place for you, because if you are here, if we have more than almost around Yeah, 300 of people. So this is the right place for you because you are interested in getting to know more details about how to fix those problems.
Okay, and guys, don't worry about that because we're not only going to talk about online situation, but we are going to talk about in-class situations. Okay, so probably that's your case, that you don't have technology, you don't know what to do with the things that you are facing now in the class or with the principal. We are going to discuss that. If you have something or if you have a problem that you are facing now related to this webinar, please mention in YouTube, in the chat, okay? And so we can give you the best answer we can have, okay? And we are going to start. Why to teach listening? Okay, that's the big question, Marta. What do you think?
Let me start saying most of learners fail in listening tests. In a while, we are going to share a funny video. Yeah, it's well known for the test takers. We fail in that listening, in those listening exercises. So we know that what Cambridge evaluators tell us, LASA statistics, we have most problems in that part.
That's very interesting. And I have to be honest, when I was a student, when I was preparing to be an English teacher, listening section was difficult for me. Yeah, it was difficult. And it's being still difficult for many students, even for teachers. So that's why we decided to work on this webinar, to give you some tips, some techniques, some solutions to fix this. Okay, thank you, Marta. The second part is the lack of planning focus on listening activities. Okay, what I can say here is that many teachers teach grammar, they teach writing, they teach reading, but they forget about listening. Okay, to be honest, I don't know why. Maybe because they don't have the tools to focus on that. But I could see in the past that even when teachers have the technology, they didn't use it. Okay, and that is something that we need to fix. Okay, because if you have the tools, you should use it. Okay, we are going to talk about this topic, the lack of planning, focus on listening activities.
We have heard some interesting anecdotes from test takers. Most of the time they fail in listening exercise because they don't get accustomed to hearing in English, so they didn't pay attention, or maybe their teachers didn't take into account in their planning. So at the end, if we are gonna take TOEFL or IELTS or B2 first or CAE, so we are gonna take the listening test. And so here we are gonna share some interesting tools in order to solve those kind of difficulties.
Okay. What about no teacher? Today we are going to talk about this situation. Okay. Most students need to listen to the teacher. That's the first thing. Okay, yeah, it's important to use CD players, audios, MP3, but students need to listen to the teacher. Okay, and most of the time we can see that teachers don't want to talk in English. Okay, even when they have a reading activity, they choose the best student in class to start doing that activity, which is good. That's okay. Okay, but from my opinion, we were discussing with Marta. I think that the teacher must be the first person or the model for the students, because in the English class, learners are looking for a model. Okay, probably the best student is a model, but you need to be the first one. Okay, and no teacher talk in class could be. It's one reason why we need to focus on listening skills. What about this, Marta? The big topic nowadays, huh?
This is an important point to mention that. So the only source that we have in our class is the teacher talk. as well as we have, as you said before, the tape recorder, the internet, the songs, the movies, or maybe some advertisements that the teachers caught their attention. So if the teacher is not ready to say something in English in class, so the students don't have the opportunity to familiarize with the English. So here, the input is very important. We have a trainer who was telling us the input needs to be, familiar for the students, engaged and motivating. If the teacher mentioned, for example, a story about difficult things, so the students are gonna afraid of listening. We have to ask our students for the interesting things in order to share with them. Otherwise, they aren't gonna familiarize with the English.
Okay, one of the ways that how we can encourage students from learning English is to try to give them an English environment. Maybe you have a 1 hour class or 2 hour class, so that's not enough for a student to practice English. At least listening, okay? Because maybe students out of the class don't want to talk, okay? For any reason, maybe because they are shy. But teachers must talk to them, okay? Hello, how are you? How are you feeling? If they are in the break, during the break time, what are you eating? How are you feeling today? What tests are you doing now? Or what are you gonna do after the break? Okay, that is one way we can encourage students so they can be involved in the listening skill. Okay, well, these 4 topics, guys, we are going to talk deeply, okay? Let's go with the next one. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay. We continue. Why to teach English? And most of learners fail in listening tests. What do you say about this, Marta?
So in our country, it's mandatory for the teachers to take this test like TOEFL, IELTS, or Cambridge English, or the B2 FIRST, or the CAE, or the CPE. And so we have another examinations to end. If we are familiarized with listening, so we are gonna be successful in that exercise, obviously. And most of the time we don't practice. So as the saying says, the more practice, the better we are. And later on, we have another slide. So you are gonna, maybe you are gonna identify with that experience. So let's share the next one, the next slide, Francisco.
You hear each recording twice.
So.
Okay, we're gonna listen here. We're gonna listen a video. Maybe you have watched this video on YouTube or any social media, but that is what happened. It happened to me when I was learning English, okay? And I was saying before that many teachers work on grammar, writing, reading, but they forget about teaching listening. And that's what it happens. I want to show you this video, and that's what happens. Let me check if I'm sharing audio. Just
we could hear before. So our dear viewers, if you are able to share your thoughts about your experiences, or maybe if you are confident with us, please share your experiences. As we were sharing, we aren't good at listening, so we are here in order to challenge this part. That's why we made up our minds to share this topic.
Okay, video is ready, Marta. Okay.
You hear each recording twice. Doot. I should relate you to Roddy. Oh yeah, I remember I was related to Lottie when Roddy's 80. Now listen again. I should relate to Roddy. Oh yeah, I should relate to Roddy. Now you have 10 seconds to look at your answers. That's the end of your test.
Have you ever experienced that way? So share your thoughts in the chat, in the YouTube chat. So I would like to read your comments because we, as some evaluators comment, we fail in that part. So in my case, I feel identified. Likewise, totally agree with that, with that video in our case.
Okay, I want to see in the chat if you feel identified with these guys. Okay, tell me. Okay, at least when you were learning English, isn't that true? This is happening in every situation, that when the learners are applying for any Cambridge or TOEFL test.
Okay, there is one person who's saying, that person is Estela. Estela says, yes, the different accents. So as we heard, that accent is from, I think it's from Indonesia. As far as I'm concerned, Francisco, what do you say? What are your thoughts? What accent is that?
Okay, well, if I have experience in TOEFL tests, and I have a different accent. So, but the thing is here, no matter what accent you will hear in the future, if you, in the past, you didn't practice or you were not involved in listening activities, so you are not going to understand anybody. So I remember when I did my first TOEFL test, I could speak English clearly. I could understand some people, my co-workers, but I say, no, I understand people, I can talk to them, and the test is gonna be easy. But it was a surprise that I found audio that I couldn't understand. That was about 10 years ago, but now I can understand very well because I was involved in, I have to be involved in listening exercise, listening activities that help me to improve that skill, okay? So if this happened to you, that is one reason why you need to focus on listening skills in your classroom. No matter what situation you are facing now, what school you are now, okay? You have one reason now why you need to focus on listening skills.
Some viewers are expressing their thoughts. Let me read. Silvia Araque, she says, it's true, it often happens. So Catherine Novoa says, the answer to your questions, and someone is asking for comments. Rosita Fuentes says, our students are sure when they work in listening tasks because they don't have enough practice. Totally agree with you, Rosita.
And I want to mention something, Marta. Guys, I don't know if you experienced this, guys. Look, I could see that teachers work on great lesson plans, reading, writing, grammar. They never using listening. But on the final exam, they have a listening question. Do you think that's fair for students? Okay, they never receive listening activity, but they have one question for listening, a listening section on the final exam. So you have another reason, okay, to start working on listening skills. We go with the next, Marta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Agree.
Why to teach English? The second one is lack of planning, focus on listening activities. I was saying something about that. Can you maybe add something, Marta?
Yeah, as we were telling before, of the time, teachers, we focus on grammar, reading, writing, and vocabulary. And so if our students are able to take at least the A2 or the key English test, so they are gonna face with listening. Obviously, they're gonna take the listening exercise. And as we know, yeah, they are frustrated. And so probably in our classrooms, we have, yeah, there could be a girl, could be a boy who's gonna be successful in that test. So what is the secret for that student? The student, most of the time, they were listening to each songs, they were used to watching movies. So those are the key, those are the key advices, as I would say. And so we are proud of getting to know some students that they face this kind of test. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Marta, I want to add something. Teachers, if this week you are gonna work on a test, final test, and you didn't do anything on listening skills, please clean that section. Okay, be fair with the students. Don't test on listening if you didn't work on that. Okay, so for the next term, start working on listening so you will be able to work on this section on the test. Okay, so we continue, Marta.
Yeah, let me share before a comment from Wilson. Wilson is from Puno, so greetings from Achala. So he's asking a question. How similar are the listening stages in comparison of international exams like XE or ECPE, MB2 FIRST, or CAE? Could you suggest some tips? So later on, Wilson, I promise you are gonna be witness of some interesting advices. So
okay,
hold on.
So that question, I have the answer for that question, Marta, at the end. Okay, yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. Okay, we'll go with next. Okay.
Yeah.
Why to teach English? This is the third one from the beginning. No English talk after class. I was mentioning something about during the break, right? I was talking about when you are at school. Okay, if you have the chance to see your students at the break time, please talk to them in English. At least, hello, how are you? But they want to listen. It's not fair to have an English teacher in school and they don't have the chance to listen English, at least outside the classroom. Okay, and many people pay a lot of money to have an English teacher, a private English teacher, but use your knowledge to fill in your students. Okay, well, I understand sometimes some teachers, they don't feel comfortable, but they don't have enough confidence talking in English. Okay, but maybe you have a reason. Maybe your English level is not so good. But my suggestion is work on listening. In your case, listening activities will help you to improve your speaking. Okay, that's true. At the end, I want to share one activity that I work with all my students, and I could notice that activity that I always do works. It's a listening activity that works for a speaking activity. Okay, so maybe one of the reasons that teachers don't talk, Marta, because parents claim. Parents get angry, say, my kid doesn't understand. My kid doesn't understand English. Why the teacher speaks in English all the time? And some schools, they force you to speak in English and understand. It's good for an English environment. Okay.
I would like to mention another thing, Francisco. You know, here in our country, in Ecuador, from the author, from the modules, she was capable of writing a letter dedicated to the parents. Yeah, we know, as we said at the beginning, we are gonna share the true experiences in our classroom. So we know that way when our parents are, as you said, are angry, they don't like, they feel like the teacher is gonna punish their children, maybe. Could be one reason. So if we love the way of teaching, so we are gonna be empathetic, yeah, that's the point. The parents are gonna notice our attitude. So if we demonstrate that way, perhaps the parents are gonna change their minds. So we are gonna get involved in this culture, because English, as someone says, the English opens doors. And we have heard some students who graduated, or they are able, maybe they are able to participate for a scholarship. And most of the time, those kind of students, they fail in, yeah, they can't get the scholarship. The only reason is they fail in those international standardized tests. And so that's we are able of sharing maybe our reasons in order to inspire our students, in order to achieve their goals. And so the English is the main requirement to travel to another country and study in another country. So it's not like a bad attitude to the teachers. It could be a way for inspiring them. So that's the most appealing thing.
Okay, I just want to mention, maybe in another webinar, we will talk about this when parents explain about why not using Spanish. Okay, yeah, maybe if you have you are facing this situation, be patient with parents. We understand that they get frustrated with this. Okay, try to divide your class. If you are working on listening activity, obviously you have to talk in English all the time. Okay, or maybe you can divide sections. Today we are going to work on grammar. Okay, I want to speak half Spanish, half English. Okay, so but deal with the students, talk to them. Okay, so the most important thing is that students feel comfortable. Okay, use English. From my experience, I use English when listening activities or listening skills are being focused on that activity. But sometimes I use Spanish, okay, when I need to explain grammar, or when a vocabulary is not very easy to use to translate with a picture, I use Spanish, okay? But we can talk about it later on, maybe next time, okay? We continue, Marta?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Why to teach English? Another reason why to teach English. Teachers.
That's the difference, that when we have in a Congress, when we have the opportunity to talk with our colleagues from private, or the schools, the parents, they maybe when they pay, so it's another thing. So that's why we wrote this detail, no input outside the classroom. Why is the difference between public and private high schools? They design time or extra time to do this kind of things. For example, extracurricular activities, or maybe they engage their students in order to belong English clubs. And so perhaps their parents are capable of traveling, so they have that opportunity. And so in my personal experience, I have worked with Participación Estudiantil. Here in Ecuador, most of the teachers, we don't like working with that program, those kinds of bureaucratic things. So as far as I am concerned, it was successful for me. So I was working with some Peace Corps volunteers. So in the extra time, we have shared with those individuals, so our students were able to see the different activities. For instance, we were working with bingo, we were working with gastronomy fair, you know, do you see? So those kind of things, they are engaged with this kind of events. So due to this experience, they have some interest in order to learn English. Okay, what happens with you, Francisco?
This topic, Marta, or no input, okay, reminds me when I was learning English a few years ago. I was worried because I was in advanced level. I could understand English. I could make great sentences, great essays, but my listening skills were not good. So I was worried. I asked my teacher, he said, teacher, why I cannot speak English? I am in advanced level. Okay, and give me some advice. I will never forget his advice because it was one of the best. He told me, Francisco, do you have, we call it here in Ecuador, cable TV at home? Yes, I have. Yes, I do. I have it. I watch every day. So my recommendation is watch English news every day during lunch. Okay, 30 minutes, which is the normal time or need some news. Watch news. But I told my teacher, say, but I don't understand normal movies conversation. Well, I was in advanced level, I could understand some, but 100% I couldn't understand. He said, yeah, I know you are not going to understand. What you need is input. Watch it. No matter if you don't understand, just watch it. And if you could see in news, they use difficult English. And for English learners, they speak very fast. So I follow his suggestion. I started watching English news for 3 months. And this is true. At the 3rd month, I couldn't understand news. I was watching every day 30 minutes news. After 3 months, I could understand. Not everything, but I think 80% what I watched, I could understand. So input is necessary. Okay, why? Because students are not going to learn in 1 hour or 2 hour class. Okay, they have the chance that time to get some advice from you, they can get input. Okay, and listening activities, you can prepare a list of suggestions how they can continue getting input because they are getting input in your class, but they need more. Why? Because we are especially if you are in a Spanish-speaking country. Okay, well, you're gonna listen outside, it's Spanish. So, but my example is my situation was one example. Okay, but there will be more. Okay, so Marta.
Another point I would like to mention, it happened to me. There was a girl who was able to take a placement test in a private academy. She was placed in, I think it was for intermediate level. So what was doing that person? She was watching some films. She was listening to some songs. For her, it was a custom. It was on the daily basis her practices. At the end, we can see the results. So if you are able to distinguish some of your students, perhaps you are gonna be surprised. Yeah, I promise. You're gonna be speechless because no, it's not. We know the majority of students, they don't pay attention. However, you have at least some students who inspire you to do the best in your classes. So at least we can say, wow, we did this. In my case, as you can see later on my Facebook, yeah, you know, we post our wonderful experiences in order to demonstrate we can do. So if we are patient, if we have enough time in order to share this kind of links that we are gonna do later, so you are gonna inspire your students because they are able. So that's the I think is those main tips. And some partners were commenting, Francisco, in the YouTube chat. Some of them were totally identified with our experiences. That's why we said at the beginning, this is the right place for you because, you know, our time, you're gonna waste your time. So our time is rewarding. Yeah, a ver, let's
Okay,
read.
Marta, I have here Liberto Martinez. He's mentioned something about pre-listening activities, while listening activities, and post-listening activities. Yeah, we are going to talk about that. I think it's the next, this is really, really important, Liberto. It's really important to have that technique to teach listening. Okay.
So thank you, Heriberto, for those words, because I think you were planning with us. So I know some of you are identified with our cases. So let's see the next slide, Francisco.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Sorry.
Okay, teachers, tell me the chat and you too. How you feel? How you're working with input? Are you working input outside the classroom? Do you send homework outside the classroom so students can get input? Can you mention something in the chat, please?
Edith Cardenas is mentioning the students like singing English songs too, even they don't understand what the song is about. Yeah, totally agree with you, Edith Cardenas. Next, yeah. A ver. Did you find something? Nelly Ramos says, you're right. So, Jacqueline Condori Chavez, she's saying all of them are important. Yeah, those details. Thank you, Marjorie.
Okay, we continue, Marta. Okay, we need more to share, guys. Okay, what we have covered is only one section. Okay, but we are going to try to be fast, guys. I know you have time to...
Sorry to interrupt you, Francisco. Eliberto says, sorry, but not all the students like to do sing songs in class, unfortunately, although is this a good resource? Yeah, I think you could share within a survey so you can notice what are the songs, you know, those songs that are really familiar. So it happens to me. If I sing within the songs, for instance, Hotel California, they are gonna, what? And so it's another thing if I sing with them, for instance, 1,000 Years. And so, or for example, Titanium. So I feel happy when I'm singing, for instance, My Heart Will Go On. And most of them are, they are speechless when they are hearing me. What happens with you, Francisco, when you are teaching those kind of songs?
Okay. Yeah, Liberto, you're right. Not many students. I could see that 90% of the students don't like to sing, and I could say that 100% of them don't like to sing. But that depends how you prepare your class. Last week I had an experience with my students. I prepared an English class, and everybody sang in that class. Everybody, okay. And I hope to have time in this webinar to mention more about this, but or we can do it another webinar, how to work with English sounds in class. To be honest, I have been working on this topic a lot, okay? And I have some models how to encourage them speaking.
Let me share it with
and
our viewers.
All of them sound the same.
Oh,
Okay.
Francisco. Let me share Historia Inglés is saying she has a blind student and she tries to do at least some little listening activities at class. So sorry.
You have one reason
he feels confident at class because he can participate. What other strategies are the best for that student? I think we are learning from you, Historia Inglés. Yeah. In my case, yeah, it comes to mind in this moment if we are teaching prepositions. So yeah, maybe you is gonna notice what thing is on the table, in the bags, perhaps. So I'm learning from you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we go ahead. Okay, we will cover why to teach English. Teachers, now I hope that we discussed today the reason you need to know why to teach English, okay, is enough. There are more reasons to teach listening skills, okay? We continue with the teaching mode. We are going to continue talking about the teaching mode. I know that some teachers here are working on different situations and different environments. Most of the teachers here have in-person class. Some of them are working online class, and all others are working on blended class. So whatever your situation is, okay, these three situations needs lesson plans that need to be focused on listening activities. There is no reason not to do this, okay? We're going to start with in-person, which I think most of the teachers are facing, okay? What problems you're facing? Okay, we prepare some topics. Well, you can, in your chat, you can tell me what problems are you facing with listening? Okay, why you are not working on listening? Tell me, guys, tell me why you are not working on listening. Try to be honest.
Taira Janan Gomez is sharing. She works in rural area and they don't have internet. She says she tries to give one song per week in order to increase listening skills. So, you know, there is no excuse if you are working in rural area. Thank you, Daira.
Thank you for sharing that.
Marina Mesa is telling my students practice all the abilities in exercises in, you know, the worksheets. It's amazing. Thank you, Marina, for providing us your wonderful idea. Did you see? Due to our role, we inspire our students. Thank you, Marina.
Good.
Eliberto, Eliberto Martinez, he says he loves to use karaoke. And I have plenty material. It's good way. Thank you, Eliberto. I think you were working with us.
Okay. I worked with karaoke in primary school. They love it. Okay, Marta, anticipating problems. These are the problems we discussed when we were preparing this. With no English lab, okay? Yeah. There is a lot of noise. You know, no electricity, no posters, and no individual classroom. Maybe you have another reason why you are not working on listening skill, guys. Are you writing something? Why you are not working on listening skills? We want to see something. Oh, we are seeing that most.
Edith is telling us that her school doesn't have internet, so they can't work listening comprehension every week.
Marta Soledad said it depends the music. Maybe she refers to what we're talking about, singing. Okay, yeah. Let me to be honest. In my class, when I prepare my class, I prepared a 90 from the 90s, a song from the 90s. never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. So guys, students love it. They say in class, okay? But when I say homework and I give you other songs from the 90s, okay? But I gave the chance so they could choose another one that they decide, okay? And to be honest, they didn't decide my list, okay? They chose another singer, okay? But maybe because they don't like that kind of music. But when I work with them on class, okay, everybody sang. Everybody did it, and very well, and they love it, okay? So yeah, it depends on the song sometimes, but we can fix that. We can prepare something new for them, something fun or something funny, why not? Okay, so the thing is to encourage them to listen English. Okay, no English lab, Marta, no electricity, no visual resources, no virtual, no individual classroom. Okay,
so if you are a public teacher, you feel identified. You could say likewise. Totally agree. In this last weeks in our high school, we have the Juegos Deportivos, and you can imagine the noise. So it's impossible to work. However, we have some appealing activities. So
I have a teacher, Luz Adriana, say, I always work the 4 skills. Excellent, Luz Adriana. Okay, that's how a teacher must work, the 4 skills. Okay.
If you are working with songs, you are able to work all the skills. For instance, we know listening, and so the students then are gonna be able to read. So at the end, they are gonna able to sing. So it means they are gonna speak, and perhaps we are gonna take time in order to practice leaders training. They are gonna write. In conclusion, you are working with the 4 skills: listening,
Edina Cárdenas.
Writing, speaking. Yeah.
Okay, Edina Cárdenas is saying that she doesn't have internet. Okay, keep watching, Edina, okay, because we are talking about that later, okay? So no English lab, Marta, you can see that this is maybe a problem that many public schools are facing.
It's our reality.
It's our reality, no English lab, but that is not the reason why we cannot work on listening skills. Yeah, you don't have computer. So maybe you cannot bring your computer to school because it's dangerous. Oh, yeah, we understand that. Oh, you don't have internet, Edina Cárdenas. We understand that. But that's not a reason why we cannot work with, on listening skills. Okay, I give you some tips. Okay, solution we can discuss here. WhatsApp. Okay, I don't know how you use WhatsApp during the pandemic, but WhatsApp was my best tool for me and for my students to share audios and to share videos too. Okay, and everybody has this. Okay, most of the people. Okay, so have access to WhatsApp.
Iskra is sharing with us, Francisco. Iskra is sharing with us. She says, my student choose the song and prepare the performance and single a song.
Great. Great.
Maria Santillán says she loves singing. Thank you. Marina Mesa is telling, if you don't have internet, use USB. Thank you. So it means we don't have excuses. That's the idea.
Miss Juanita says she uses her cell phone, okay, to share the lyrics. Okay, that's great, Miss Juanita. Okay, good. Keep working on your cell phone. It's a great tool. And Marta, Facebook groups. Okay, many people say, I don't have internet. Yeah, but all of them have Facebook. Okay, yeah. I'm not saying that you can work Facebook groups in class. I am talking about outside the class, the input that you can give it outside the class. If you are good using Facebook, or you have a Facebook account, it's not going to be difficult for you to understand how to make Facebook groups. Work on Facebook groups, private groups, where you can join in a group of students, where you can have your students join that group. It's like an online class that you can share audios, you can share videos. All of them can see you, can listen to you, and you can listen to them. And no one else, because it's a Facebook group, it's a private group. Okay. You have experience with this.
Oh, Francisco, if I were a viewer, I would say, Francisco, can you share your Facebook group? Do you have a Facebook group? Are you working with that? What do you say?
Well, Marta, yeah, I can share you something. Okay, I can share something that I can see you a group. Okay, are you watching the video now?
Yes.
Okay. I want to go to a special activity that I mentioned before. Okay, let me just give you a few moments here.
Do you click on share the audio, Francisco?
I was saying that I have an activity for you to explain. Yeah, here. Okay. It was a listening activity. What I did, teachers, pay attention and you can take notes. Okay. Please take notes because you can work on this activity in class. Number one. Okay. Number one. Okay. Before the direction number one, prepare the audio. If you get the audio from your text. Okay, if you have a reading like this that you are watching now, get the audio from the textbook. If you don't have the audio, please record one. Use WhatsApp. You can record one. Okay, so send the audio to the students and give the next direction. Number one, listen to the recording for 15 minutes. Explain to them that they have to listen for 15 minutes, but maybe inside their bedroom, okay, with no interruption, maybe closing the eyes. But teacher, we don't understand what the audio is saying. Yes, I know that they are gonna face that. You have to explain to them that they are gonna start getting frustrated that they cannot understand. But that's not the reason to stop listening. Okay, what they are doing is they're doing input. They're working on input. So 15 minutes listening the audio. The audio is gonna last about 90 or 1 minute. So the second thing they are gonna do is listen and repeat while they are listening. But remember that they are not reading yet. The first thing that they did is they listen, not reading, they just listen, close their eyes, and focus while they listen. The second is listen and repeat while they are listening. Okay, for 15 minutes more. For 15 minutes. You can reduce the time to 10 minutes, but not less, please. They need that input. Remember, number one, listen, 15 minutes, just listen. Number two, repeat while they listen. When they repeat while they're listening, they're gonna start getting frustrated because they cannot keep the same speed. And please tell them not to stop. Continue, because the audio is 1 minute and is going to be repeated. Okay, and the last try is 15 minutes more, but listening, repeated, and now reading, checking what they failed, why they couldn't do well. So, and they will have good results. Let me see. I'm sharing now.
My name is Ariana Quesada.
On the screen, please, Francisco.
Listening?
Communication
Expand
and
the
cultura
screen.
award.
No audio?
Expand the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Studying abroad was a dream. My name is Ariana Quesada. Lesson B. Communication and Cultural Awareness. Studying abroad was once a dream for many people 50 years ago, but now it is a reality for several students. Many universities offer study programs for a semester or a year. Universities establish agreements with foreign schools and are able to do a student exchange program.
Okay.
For example,
Okay.
it's a university in Mexico.
Okay. So, yeah, let me share again. That's enough just to show what you can do. And give me 1 minute, please. Let me share it again. Okay.
While you are sharing, let me read some comments.
Yeah.
Miss Macias is saying something that has
well, guys, teachers, the student did well on the reading, 90%, and most of them 97%. And so why? Because they did the 3-step that I was telling you. Okay. So Marta, we continue with speakers. Let me talk about Marta speakers. You want to say something about speakers?
First of all, I would like to read some comments from our viewers. Eliberto Martinez is taking part in our webinar, so thank you for being active here. Eliberto says now we can use videos from YouTube, Spotify, and some apps. So I totally agree with you, Miss Mayorga, Jody Mayorga. In my case, I love singing, so I sing in class. I feel transmit confidence to them. So if we mention about the speakers, some of our partners now they make up their minds to bring the speaker to the class. So when somebody is asking for a piece of advice in order to work with listening, I remember a woman from Morona, Santiago, I think so. She was asking, I'm gonna work with acompañamiento. Can you suggest some ideas in order to work grammar with them? And so I was asking in private to her about the age for those students. She told me they are teenagers, so I recommend her working with listening songs. So I was speechless when she showed me her speaker. So that speaker, she was telling me it doesn't cost more than $20. Did you see? So maybe if we save some money. In my case, what I do, if I learn by heart a song, I try to sing. I tell my students, please don't tell other person I'm not professional in singing. So I'm gonna try because we can force them if we don't provide an example. So that we are capable of singing. Please go ahead.
Okay.
The microphone, Francisco.
Okay, we have, guys, you have no laugh, I understand. We understand, but that's no reason. You have WhatsApp, Facebook, you can buy a speaker. Please, it's not very expensive. Okay, you don't have internet, but you could have a speaker and use Bluetooth with your cell phone. Okay, work on interviewing or storytelling. So here you have some answers and some tips what you can do in this situation that you have no English lab. Go ahead with the next one. Okay, we need to go quickly. Okay, noise. That's Go ahead, Marta.
We were sharing before our you know, it's some things you are gonna feel likewise with art. Due to the noise, it's impossible to pay attention. If you are working in a private language center, obviously, if you are working in a language center, perhaps the noise in your class is gonna disturb your students. I remember there was a teacher who told us, familiarize with that kind of problem, because in the real test, we don't know exactly if that examination center is gonna be surrounded, you know, with this similar image we have in this moment. In what can we do in order to solve that problem? If in our case, if we're teaching, we can provide, obviously it's a private center, we can provide headphones because the students, to pass their test, they need to approve. Otherwise, they are gonna waste their money, they are gonna waste their time. And so we know that point is very important.
So that we have the solution, Marta. If you get noise from the street, or from the other students that are doing activity outside near your classroom, okay, find a quiet area. Okay, go maybe to the basketball court or the soccer court, or maybe you have an area where nobody can interrupt. Take your students to that place, okay, and work on some different activities. The board is not the only tool that you have. Work on running dictations, teacher dictation, storytelling, describing places. You can start describing places, and you're working on listening activities because you are using your English. Okay, don't necessarily technology here when you work outside the classroom. Describe the school, describe the basketball court, the bar. Okay, so
let me share what I do in my classes. In my classes, I work with some envelopes. Inside of the envelopes, I provide my students this kind of strips of paper. And what do we have in those, you know, in those piece of papers? We have, for instance, you can see another day has gone. Yeah, do you see? It's a song by Michael Jackson, and so the students are familiarized with the song, and so they are able to follow me. They are gonna concentrate. First of all, when I have enough time, I began this activity with a handman game. So the students are gonna guess the name of the song, and later I make groups of 4 people. So if the classes are bigger, because we were telling you, we are workers from public high schools, and so most of the time I have no more than 8 or 9 envelopes, and so they have this kind of materials. And what they do, they are gonna put in order the song, the lyrics of the song, as they can listen to me. Obviously, most of the time I try to sing at least 4 times. At least I learned by heart that song, and later, or as a result of this activity, they are gonna be able to sing just themselves with a song. So the winner is the group who is familiar, or maybe the group who are sharing, the entire, at least the first paragraph, not all the song, it's too long. So if we are working just with 30 minutes or 35 minutes, yes, we are capable of working with 1 paragraph.
That's a great activity, Marta. Okay, and teachers, if you don't have anything to take notes, you can watch the video again and take notes. Okay, because this is important. This is a solution for your problem. Okay, so we continue, Marta. No electricity. Yeah, sometimes we don't have electricity, or maybe the school have electricity, but in your classroom, there is no access to electricity. So you cannot use your laptop if you are able to bring it, or you cannot use your cell phone. Maybe you have low charge. Okay, so whatever the electricity is causing you problem, so we have the solution. Okay, what is the solution? We can use flashcards. We can use flashcards. You can bring them, you can create them, or you can have your students make the flashcards for you. Okay, and so they can bring it in class as a tool, and they can use it. You can work on bingo, the hangman, the telephone. What activity do you work on this situation when you don't have electricity? Can you type, guys, on the chat? What do you do? What do you do if you cannot use your cell phone, even your cell phone? Okay, I know you have battery, but let's suppose that you don't have battery. So how do you work? Okay, you can use the flashcards to describe you're working on listening activities. Okay, bingo, it's like dictating. But what do you do? You can chat on YouTube, and we can learn from YouTube. And again, we say any game, okay? Poster, the hangman, good. I can use the board, good. You can divide the board and make an activity. Another flashcard, read a book, storytelling. Thank you, David.
Wilson Kishpe is sharing voice recorder of the mobile phones. They're so useful to speak and listen. Thank you, Wilson.
Julie Monstaxero is a speaker with a flash memory USB connection. Good. If your speaker had battery, good. We continue with flashcard, drawing on the board. Good. Drawing on the board. Flashcard, memory games. Yeah, flashcard. Flashcard is the top tip here, huh? Good.
Henry Torres, he was
very good. Liliana Espejo, describing objects of the classroom. That's good to learn vocabulary.
Henry Torres is commenting, he usually creates reading comprehension text and become an audio with online synthesizers. The voices are real. Thank you, Henry, for sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, Marina, teachers always have a solution to teach. Yeah. That's how we think. We need to think in that way. Okay, we are teachers and we need to have a solution. Good. We go ahead. Good comments, guys. Thank you very much. You can keep typing in the chat. Okay, we are going to learn a lot from you.
Janet Desdioca is sharing something. She sends videos in her WhatsApp groups. Claps for you. Thank you.
Edith Karen, I say I can use flashcards, spelling, repetition with mimics, and they love repeating. Yeah, repeating is one of the techniques how to acquire listening and English listening activities. Love flashcards, doing a fruit salad, flashcard. Okay, good. Good. Thank you guys for your comment. Okay, thank you for sharing your knowledge. That's great. That's great. We continue on, Marta. Knowledge. It's fixed. You have the solution, guy. Okay, I don't know if we have it. I have experienced this, Marta. This was a terrible experience. Okay, so no individual classroom for primary school. Maybe you are facing. Who is facing this? Who is in the primary school and you need to share the classroom? Please tell me in the chat. And the teacher is next to you. She or he is fixing, she is working on some exams or checking homework when you are teaching. And so suddenly he or she interrupts your class, reminding her the social studies homework. Do you have that experience if you work in the primary school? High school students, they don't face most of the time this situation. Can you read something, Marta, about this? what is the teacher saying?
Yeah, Eliberto, yeah, you read Eliberto's comment.
Yeah.
Liliana Espejo is writing, record the dialogues with classmates in WhatsApp. Nieves Oroche, she says flashcards and bingo. Robert Arezumena, auxiliar. I don't understand your comment, Robert. Please, if you can give more details.
Another webinar about games. Yeah, you can work on that. Good. Now we focus on the solutions that you need. You need not to have excuse, not teaching listening skill. Flashcard, poster, okay, bingo, okay. Okay, guys, not in the little classroom. If you're facing the problems, let me explain the problem because this happened to me, okay? You go to the class, to one classroom, 1 hour, and the second hour you have another class in another classroom, maybe the next one, or maybe you have to walk 15 or 100 meters to go to the next classroom with your laptop, with your speaker. That's annoying. To be honest, that's annoying, very tiring, okay? And even if when the teacher, the principal teacher is in the classroom, you are working on listening activities and suddenly she interrupts you and they say, hey, students, don't forget about tomorrow's social studies. Oh, I forgot about to tell you tomorrow you have to bring the science notebook. And you say, what? So that happens to me. I don't know if you are facing, you face something similar. Okay, what can you do? What can you do in these situations? Okay, this situation is I don't know. Here we know are working maybe on it looks like it's nothing about listening skills, but you cannot work on listening skill here if you have interruptions all the time.
Read the comments from Maria del Carmen.
Okay.
She's answering your question.
Checking. We do so sometimes they don't. One student sing or clap. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they say the tutors are checking. That's great. If they can help you to keep discipline there, that's okay. They don't. She say that teachers don't want students to sing or clap. I understand what she's trying to say here, right? Because of the media, because of the internet. Okay. Okay. Now,
perhaps the students are afraid of participating in class due to the supervisors. I think so. Yeah. Perhaps, Maria del Carmen. Okay. No, however, you know, your students are gonna demonstrate what are you teaching. So I think if your students are confident with you, they are gonna show off, of course.
And Alberto is also again mentioning something that he has to take the cassette player from one room to another room. Yeah, I remember that I have to bring, I always bring my laptop with class, and I had to turn off the laptop, turn off the laptop, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And so that's annoying, even if it's bad for your laptop, okay? So, well, what is the solution, guys? I'm going to tell you what I did, okay? And probably it could be a good advice, but think about what I am sharing today, because it works for me. It works for me, okay? So, solution, okay? So I can have listening activities. Talk to the principal. Talk to the principal and tell him or tell her about this situation. But talk kindly, okay, gently, in a good way, okay? Talk to the principal and try, because she or he can learn from you too. You can explain to the principal, because she's not an English teacher. She doesn't know, he or she doesn't know, whoever it is, he or she doesn't know how important English or how important it is to have our own classroom. So talk to the principal, but not just one talk. Talk every time that you can, kindly. Tell her tell him the importance of having your own classroom. And during the talk, include, please, I really need to have a classroom. It's really important for the students. And if it's possible, please give me a speaker too, and a microphone and a data show. I did that, to be honest. I did that. 1 year, it took me 1 year to talking to the principal, explaining the reason why it's important to have one classroom, why it's important to have a speaker, a microphone, an environment, an English environment, so I can work on listening activities. So, and it worked. So the next year I got the classroom. I got the speaker, I got the data show, I got internet, and even air conditioner. So talking, I think, is one of the best solutions. But not only to the principal, talk to the primary school teacher who is always there, especially if he or she interrupts your class. Talk to this teacher and tell them, I need my space. I need my space. Yeah, please, you have many hours to remind the student from next homework, but please give me my space. But kindly, always being friendly. Okay, that's the best way you can keep co-workers at school. Okay, and sometimes parents worry about that, and you can talk to them too, kindly and formally. Say, yeah, the parents say, why don't you, teacher, why don't you have your own classroom? Why you have to share that classroom? You can go to another classroom and use a microphone. Yeah, so many parents talk to me in that way. They say, yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you talk to kindly and say that to the principal? Talk to her and tell her that your kid needs an English classroom, because English is important, and you are in that school because everybody is telling you that the teacher is great in English and the teacher needs all the tools. So because your kid is studying there and you need the best education. Okay, that's my solution from my experience that I can share for you. Okay, so if you have another solution or you are facing this situation, guys, are you reading something, Marta?
Yeah, let's see. To be honest, we said 50 minutes to this webinar. We are more than 1 hour, 36 minutes.
Okay, we continue.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just one, I think we make the English classes creative, nice students. Thank you, Luz Adriana. Thank you, Liberto. Thank you, Tirsa, for your comments. Robert, David, thank you for comments. To be honest, I'm gonna read all of them. I'm gonna find a way to share more information for you. Think about you. What's your case? What's your case, guys? Tell me in the chat, please.
Yeah.
What are you facing?
Luz Adriana, I think that comment is really essential for us. She says, I think if we make the English classes creative, nice, and the students enjoy them, they want to learn it. They lose them. My students tell me all the time, and they are little children from preschool. Yeah, Maria del Carmen Urbina, she's saying, when the school is small, the other teachers don't agree. With the noise, they believe that the best classes is that in which the students are always listening and writing all the hour. Yeah,
Yeah, Carmen. Yeah, Carmen. I always mention that, Carmen, to talk about the primary school teacher. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, online. We continue with the online situation. Okay, here we discussed some, guys. We have some ideas for teachers, and especially for teachers who are working online. Okay, if you have facing this, which is a great experience, here we share some tips, some websites so you can work online, and it's really important here to check the website first, to understand the website, so you can direct your students to this English environment so they can have the best experience on listening skills. Okay.
let me share some of them now. So can you see the
next one?
someone, oh, I need your help, partners. Okay. I'm not able to share it. So if you want, if you are capable of sharing those links in your internet, please.
Yeah, let me just finish before you go, Marta, with this. Well, Marta is going to share, she's going to share a website, okay, that has this process. See, Eliberto, maybe you mentioned something about this, pre-listening, while listening, and post-listening. And the listening activities is really important. Well, that's one of the best techniques, so you can keep your students working on listening activities. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, Marta, so you can share this website, ESL Lab, okay?
Okay, to be honest, I'm not able to share it, the screen. So yeah, here is the first link, please, Francisco.
You want me to share it?
Yeah. Now I'm done. Yeah, thank you, partners. So here is the first link that we were watching on your screen. I think it's well known, this website. So if we are busy, so here we have our alternative in order to inspire our students, to be honest. Here, as you can see, we have the easy, intermediate, difficult level. Okay, let's click on easy. What can we find here? Here we have more than 50 topics, I think so. If you are interested in getting to know more about this, maybe that topic is related with the unit that you are teaching. So this is the great opportunity to work with our students. It could be an extra activity. Okay. If you are a novice teacher, so let's provide more details about these ones. As you can see here, Francisco was sharing the pre, during, and post-listening. So it means PTP. It's a technique from TESOL. Okay, it's a TESOL technique. You know, the word is smaller. Those techniques, the author is Mary Chul. And so that is a woman who's gonna share in the next days. She's gonna share a webinar with Jaime and Kahima. So later you're gonna meet some more info about that woman. Okay, that is the author for the technique. So if you are studying English, you can talk with the authors for that advice, methods, approaches, or techniques. Okay, here we have the pre-listening exercises, and next we have the idiom. Okay, for instance, we have crack the books and cut clacks. So it's providing the meaning, and after that we have the audio. Here we have the questions and options, okay, related to that one. So it takes time for us if we decide to do this. So here we can copy and paste, and our students are gonna be able to do this. So as you saw before, it's relating to the different levels. At the end, you can find vocabulary practice, post-listening exercises, and online investigation. So maybe you're gonna send this as a homework. Okay, apart from that, we have this one, British Council Learn English. It's the same procedure. Nonetheless, there is an extra thing. If you are, this is skills, and our topic is listening. Okay, here we can find, it's the same like levels. For instance, we were seeing A1, and so it here is listening. Let's see more. Yeah, this is the way. A1 listening. So click on this part. for me, this is very, very useful. It's the topic, and in addition, you can find the audio, so you can download the audio. You can download it, because with the previous web page, we are not capable of downloading. So in this case, if you see the three dots, we have the option to download this material. Okay, what else? This is TED Ed. It's right now like a TED Talk. If you are teaching for B2 or C1 learners, so this is the right website. Students start here. So what can we find here? There is a topic that I love so much. What is this here? For instance, this is the, if you are into with this one, you have this, these steps, watch it, the video, it takes, I think, it's not available now. I think my internet is driving me crazy. So in the common TED Talks, we have the option only to watch the video. And here we have more steps like think, dig deeper, and discuss. What happens with think? You have 2 questions, and we are not able to see. Yeah, this is the one. Learn more about the topic, and think 2 multiple choice, and 3 open answer questions. And at the end, you are gonna discuss. So it is free. Believe me, it is free. For instance, let's see. Once we watch the video, we are more than 1 hour, 45 minutes. So that's why I made up my mind to share just the main characteristics of these tools. So you are gonna select one of these. What if you were listening to that video? And later you're gonna write your name, save the name of it. Somebody is working with that name, so rename. Yeah. Oops. So yeah, now let me see. Okay, save your answer. So we were clicking at random. So later, video hint, and you are capable of seeing one more time. And at the end, you're gonna hear the main detail about that question. I think you are able to listen to that one. Yeah, and later you have the opportunity to discuss. And so at the end, you can find 2 guided discussions and what else? And 9 open discussions. And at the end, we have the lingo clip. And this is the lyrics training. Here, we have some friends, with some closer friends. Here is Edgar Contreras from Colombia. Edgar was telling me this tool was completely new, even for Francisco. And so, how are you gonna work with this? This is lovely. This link you are gonna share with your students. Yeah, for instance, in our case, we love this music. So this is an example. Obviously, we have to respect our students' taste. Yeah, this is the lemon tree. And you have the option to select one of these. For instance, we have principiante, intermedio, avanzado, or experto. So if you opt for one of these, in the first one, rellenar, or you are able to fill 29 words from 290 words. So it means 10%. If you are an expert, so you are gonna able to fill in those ones. So let's see what happens with the first one. So please select the one because it's modo selección, yeah? I have this in Spanish. I apologize. It's not mandatory to pay for any price, so this is without charge. A ver. Let's click on this, and we're gonna able to hear the song. So type your answer on YouTube chat. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Just another rainy afternoon. It's in my time. Yes. What happens if we fail the answer? So, imagine I'm gonna do it with but, so we know it's incorrect. Can you see the red bar is decreasing? So it means we have another chance. So if we finish this arrow, we don't have more opportunities. Oh. See, one more time. What is happening? Okay, so at the end, I'm gonna die with this one. I hope these tools you are gonna find incredible, fruitful for you. So let's see, what do we have? Francisco, turn on your micro.
Yeah, great tool, guys. You have the links there. I share some on YouTube, but you can watch again the video and take notes, okay? The important thing here on these tools that Marta was showing is that they have pre-listening, while listening, and post-listening process, which is really important on this topic, developing listening skills, okay? So we're gonna go faster. We're taking a lot of time on this. Learning process, the second tool that she was saying, it was watch, think, and deeper and discuss. Okay, yeah. Here are the characteristics of what Marta was saying. You listen and you have the chance to choose one word that you listen during the song. Okay, and you can see the fails, the hits, and the bonus that you get. Okay, good. Here you have some apps, guys, English apps that you can go with your cell phone and find, because cell phone is a great tool. Take a screenshot so you can look for these apps and find the way how to use in the classroom. Guys, listening activities, focus on listening skills. Students need it, okay? Students need it, and there are many ways, no matter if you have a lab or if you don't have. We show some solutions. There are more, but I know that you are a great teacher, okay? Find a way how you can work on listening activities. If you are working on 4 skills, that's great. That's great. Teach other teachers how to do it, okay? We are teachers, remember, we have to do our best to keep our students learning, okay? So we really thank you so much for your attention, okay? We are very happy. We're very happy to share you guys, and we hope to have the opportunity to, I said, next opportunity to continue talking about this, talking about some topics, strategies, methods, or games. Some teachers mentioned that they want to know about games. Yeah, but we find solution. We share today some solution and some tips how to work on listening skills. Thank you so much, Marta.
Thank you so much on behalf of English teachers in Peru for this wonderful presentation, for sharing your knowledge with us, these interesting strategies, tips. Really, I'm really grateful for this webinar, and thank you so much, dear Francisco and Marta. Please, can you stay with us some minutes more, because we have some questions for you.
Sure.
Okay, great. So I have some questions. First, we have some greetings for you too. Some greetings from all the teachers around Peru, obviously.
most of the teachers that are connected are English teachers in Peru, but we have another greetings from other teachers. For example, Edgar Contreras says, good evening from Colombia. Thank you for the invitation. Glendis Tapia, I am from Ecuador. Too, Martita, Francisco, and another teachers from Mexico, Argentina, Panama. They are so happy with this presentation. So the first question for you is, Wilson. Wilson says, how recommendable or useful would be teaching with bilingual songs like Spanish and English to teenagers or adult students? Also, it would be useful to teach grammar through these songs too?
Okay, that's a great question. Great question. Look, I have experience, I was saying in the presentation, don't focus on grammar. Don't focus on grammar when you want to work on sounds. Okay, forget about that. You have another class to work on grammar. Okay, focus on pronunciation, focus fluency. But the most important thing is that you, teacher, you need to be the first that sing that song. Okay, before your students. Choose just one paragraph, okay, of the song and work on that paragraph. Paragraph has 4 or 3 lines, no more. Work on that, but sing that song. They can show you. You can start doing sing first. The second part, what you can do is sing the first line and ask them to repeat. Okay, sing the second line and ask them to repeat, and go like that. Okay, so the next step that you can work is sing the first line, they sing the second line. Sing the third line, they sing the fourth line. So you are getting involved students in the song. At the beginning, they don't want to, but if you work in that way, okay, I'm sure they're gonna be happy. They're gonna be happy. And so at the end, and when you practice a lot with them, ask them if they want to do it alone. Most of them are gonna say no. But what I did, I shared with them and say, guys, next week is gonna be the final exam. And I have 2 points for the one that wants to sing right now. You can, if 2 points is too much, okay, too many points, well, 1 point at least, they say, and they start raising their hand. Teacher, me, I want the point. Okay, and 6 students sang along. Okay, so guys, you want 2 points? Okay, I need more students. You can do it in pairs if you want. Now, shy students start looking for another partner. You say, yeah, teacher, we want to try. We want to try. And they finish working on 3, a group of 3. But most of them want to start. The time was over, and I couldn't continue with more students that they wanted to sing. Okay, I hope this experience helped.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Francisco. Maybe you, Marta, could you add some ideas?
Yeah. Due to our role, we may awareness of teaching with songs is not advisable. We can say we can teach grammar. So we know poetry or poems, even songs, are not a good way to teach grammar. We know some songs, we can say at all. So, however, some songs, we can say the first condition, we can teach the first condition and the present simple. The majority of this, we can't take that point. That we can notice in some songs that problem. So if you are gonna work in that way, so select carefully, pay attention in that. Thank you, Mariela.
Thank you, dear Marta. Now, okay, we have another questions from Carlos Pariachi. He says, which are the most needed capacities commonly to develop listening activities in class?
Can you say again the question? I understand the first one, please.
Yeah. So, which are the most needed capacities? The most needed capacities commonly to develop listening activities. The capacities, I think that he's talking about the capacities that we need to develop this skill.
We're talking about the English teachers level?
Oh, not exactly.
The resources?
To develop listening activities in class.
Well, I mean, what I understand is that he doesn't know what to do on listening skills. Okay, is that correct?
Yeah, it could be. I suppose that the questions refers to maybe infer information or some capacities that are into the listening skill.
Okay. Okay, let me try to figure this out. If you mean that you cannot, you are not very good at listening, okay, we need to learn. As I mentioned before, I was not very good at listening when I was in advanced level, when I was learning English. Okay, we need to teach ourselves. We need to teach ourselves because you are a model. You are a model in the class, so you need to be great in everything, grammar and writing. Okay, I understand. I understand is that the case that your listening skill is not good, but you can improve it. You can improve it. I give you one example. Watch again the video and follow that example. Okay, there are many ways that you can be involved in listening. Okay, now we have the technology where you can use audio while you're going to work, while you are walking in the park. Use audio, English audio. Try to use English so you can improve. That if the question means that your knowledge of listening skills. If the question means about that you are good at, you can listen, your listening skills are very good, but you don't know what to do. Well, look for the information in the internet. There are rich information in the internet what to do that. But the most important thing is in your plan, take notes of everything that is happening in your class. Why something didn't work. Analyze. When you finish the class, you listen in class, analyze step by step why didn't that step work and what you can do to improve it. Okay. In that way, you can go the next class and the next class, you can go improve it and improve it and improve it. Okay. But planning is necessary. Taking a register of the planning and comments, feedback, maybe from other coworkers, you can invite teachers to watch your class and comment. Okay, that's the best thing to learn how to work on listening activities. I was very bad at listening songs at first. I have to be honest, but I did that and I worked on every step, what I did wrong and how I could improve it. And now I am sure that someone asked me to teach songs in class, my students are going to be very happy at the end. Why? Because I worked alone. I failed a lot, okay, but I improved it.
Thank you so much, Francisco. And Marta, can you continue with some ideas?
To sum up, we have to recognize we are not good at listening at all. However, we are here to overcome this difficulty. So it is a challenge for us, and here we are gonna overcome this problem. Those technological tools, some websites, some apps, our study buddies were sharing with us. So if those apps work for them, it works for us. That's the great point.
Thank you so much, Marta. So this is the last question for you. Luz Adriana Jaramillo Villegas. She says, how I can work the listening skill with children with special needs?
That's a good question. What kind of special needs he has? Okay.
It depends. It depends what is special.
Really open. But what I can tell you from kids, look, I have experience. Let me tell you something about my experience. At the beginning, I didn't like teaching kids. See, to be honest, I avoid teaching kids. But one day in 2008, a director hired me and said, I want you to work in my school. Yeah, sure, I love to, but he told me, but I had kids for you. Second grade, third grade, and fourth grade. So I needed a job. So I said, well, I am a teacher, I need to learn how to teach them. Okay, I check and I review a lot of information, journals, theses, and many information that I could reach my knowledge. So now I love teaching kids. I love teaching kids. And songs as a great tool for kids. They memorize it. Even I have my first experience with song, it was kindergarten, preschool. And I remember that I started 40-minute class singing a song, a very beautiful song. I recommend is, I forgot the video. Wow, I am talking too much, maybe I forgot. Super simple songs. Visit that website. Super simple songs. They are great for kids, for any age, primary school. So I send that song and they love it. They repeat in class. It was not 40 minutes. I remember now it was a 30-minute class. It was Monday. The next Monday, they were waiting for me happily. Say, teacher, we need to sing that song. I say, what song? And they started singing the song. They could remind the song. They could remember the song. That was amazing. I didn't write the song. They couldn't read, obviously. They were preschool. But they could remember the song. So that's great. And I noticed that working with song with kids, okay, it's great. I don't know what kind of special need he has, but if you can hear, if you can listen, work on that. Work with song. Visit Super Simple Song. I recommend that website. I'm sure you're gonna find a lot of songs for this kid, okay? Because if you're asking because he can listen, okay, if he can listen, that's enough to work on listening skills.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Super Simple Songs has a great website and a YouTube channel too, with beautiful videos and really nice songs. I think it's a great resource for developing the listening skills. Now, this is the last question. Please, thank you so much again, dear Francisco and Marta. Please stay with us some minutes more. We are going to continue with some information for you, English teachers. Now we are going to check what do we have for the next week. Dear Gina, are you there? Can you share the invitation for the next week, please?
Yes, hello. Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Francisco and Miss Marta. Good evening, Miss Mariela. So next week is our last webinar, and that is going to be presented by Mrs. Cristel Oyola with the topic, how to align your learning experience to the Common European Framework. So you can miss it, no lo podemos perder este último webinar, ya que la asistencia va a valer doble y aparte es una invitada especial, right, por British Council. Va a haber sorpresas, así es que colegas, los espero el día en nuestro próximo webinar, right? Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Miss Gina Soplopuco. Sí, definitivamente con esto ya cerramos la próxima semana. Mrs. Oyola viene en representación del British Council con un excelente webinar tan importante para nosotros, el alinear nuestras experiencias de aprendizaje al marco de referencia común europeo, de acuerdo a los niveles, y tenemos una sorpresa, o un premio, podríamos decirlo así, un recurso muy importante que lo vamos a compartir en vivo en la misma transmisión, y para ello tienen que estar todos conectados, así que ya saben, imperdible, la próxima semana, Saturday 26. Y continuamos entonces, ahora sí, compartiendo nuestro exit ticket. Mrs. Córdoba, está por ahí nuestra querida administradora, Miriam.
Yes, Miss, I'm here.
Okay, share the exit ticket, please.
Sure. Thank you so much for this amazing presentation, Ms. Marta, Mr. Francisco, and thank you so much all the teachers who are connected with us. Don't forget our next speaker is Mrs. Loyola, who is a great invite for us, and we know all the background about her. Now, here is the most exciting. This is the exit ticket. No olvidemos que debemos de tener en cuenta de tomar una captura de imagen, only just in case. A veces nos suelen decir de que no ingresa, pero si usted va a tomar en cuenta y copia literalmente tal cual se les va dando las letras, entonces no va a haber ningún problema. También va a estar fijado en nuestro chat y recordemos que solo está disponible 15 minutos. Todos los que rellenan este exit ticket correctamente, en el email van a poder recibir los materiales que nuestros invitados de honor el día de hoy nos están compartiendo. Ok, empecemos entonces. https://cut.ly/ todo mayúscula SPRINGX y I mayúscula. Este es el exit ticket, hay que tomarlo en cuenta, por favor, solo tenemos 15 minutos, ¿ok? Empecemos entonces inmediatamente a llenar nuestro exit ticket.
Muchísimas gracias a nuestra querida administradora. Gracias, Miriam Córdoba. Sí, ya está abierto. Salía a un principio como para no llenar, pero ya está abierto el exit ticket. Lo pueden completar. Algo muy importante, por favor, recuerden que para que se pueda enviar todo el material que amablemente los ponentes dejan para compartir con toda la audiencia, es importante que respondan de manera satisfactoria a las preguntas. Desde el webinar del día de ayer y el día de hoy, vamos a considerar que las preguntas sean respondidas de manera satisfactoria, al menos la mayoría de ellas, ¿sí? Porque eso es una prueba para nosotros de que hemos estado atentos al webinar y es con estos maestros que han respondido efectivamente que vamos a compartir el material. Sin embargo, para el 100% de maestros, obviamente, pues el registro de asistencia cuenta, ¿sí? Pero los recursos con quienes aprobemos el exit ticket, que estoy segura que va a ser el 100% porque hemos estado súper atentos y la información que nos han dado ha sido una información genial, súper clara. Bien, nos despedimos ya con este maravilloso equipo de administradores de nuestra comunidad English Teachers in Perú, a quienes pueden ver en pantalla, cada uno de ellos que hace posible, ha hecho posible ya desde hace 12 sábados exactamente, 12 semanas que estamos con nuestros webinars y ya a punto de cerrar. Muy felices por toda la acogida y muy felices también por llegar a ustedes con una capacitación que estoy segura que va a fortalecer nuestra formación pedagógica. Y bien, dejamos de compartir para poder encender las camaritas a todos los que estamos presentes, querido Francisco, Marta, Pamelita, Miriam, nuestros administradores que están por ahí, por favor. Una vez más, a nombre de toda la comunidad English Teachers in Perú, esta es la primera vez que tenemos a Marta Ogoño y a Francisco Guamantica y déjenme decirles que ha sido una excelente experiencia tenerlos aquí. Escuchándolos, compartiendo con nosotros toda su experiencia, todos sus conocimientos. Súper interesante el tema de hoy, los materiales, los tips, las estrategias compartidas. De todo corazón, a nombre de los más de 500 maestros que han estado conectados el día de hoy. de diferentes partes del mundo, sobre todo Latinoamérica, creo, y de Perú. Miles, miles de gracias. Muchísimas gracias por esa nobleza, por ese corazón de aceptar nuestra invitación para poder compartir con los maestros, querida Marta, querido Francisco, tal vez algunas palabras para despedirse.
Mil gracias a ti, Mariela, por hacer esto posible. Sinceramente, en este tiempo de pandemia, ha surgido esta linda amistad en los grupos de WhatsApp. Nos hemos dado tiempo de ponernos también en los zapatos de los otros y gracias a ustedes hemos podido también atender a nuestros estudiantes de la mejor manera. Pues este trabajo tan enorme que ustedes lo hacen con tanta voluntad y un equipo tan grande que puede desde sus espacios, ¿no?, hacer un mundo mejor. Mil gracias por invitarnos. Un honor haber estado con ustedes.
Muchas gracias a ti y desde ya pues esperamos que tengas un espacio más adelante también para que puedas seguir compartiendo con la comunidad. Querido Francisco, ¿algún mensaje de despedida tal vez?
Mariela, queridos colegas, teachers, muchas gracias por su atención. Fue un placer realmente compartir nuestra experiencia junto con Marta y realmente estamos muy contentos de estar aquí, esperamos que les haya ayudado en algo nuestra experiencia y no olvidarnos que somos profesores, somos colegas, somos docentes y siempre vamos a estar aprendiendo uno del otro. Sí, así yo voy a leer mucho de esos chats que están en el video grabado para aprender mucho de ustedes y qué es lo que necesitamos aprender para la próxima oportunidad si la tenemos. ¿Ok? Gracias a ustedes, colegas, y Dios les bendiga mucho. ¿Okay?
Gracias, muchas gracias, Francisco. Esperamos volverte a tener también en la comunidad. Se han quedado por ahí, han dicho que falta todavía una clase más para poder seguir hablando sobre esto. Se han quedado pues enganchados con el tema. Realmente el listening, sabemos, es una competencia, una de las más difíciles de desarrollar con nuestros estudiantes y hay mucho todavía por aprender seguramente. Mil gracias, Francisco. Querida Marta, una vez más. Conmigo el equipo administrativo, Miss Miriam Córdoba Soto, el día de hoy, que se encuentra ahí, Miss Gina Evelyn Soplocupo, que está por ahí, Mrs. Soplopuco, Miss Pamela Salazar, se encuentra ahí también, muchísimas gracias. Miss Julia Millones, nuestra querida Julie en la comunidad, Miss Maite Flores, querida Maite, Miss Jessica Carguavilca, que está también con nosotros. Estamos en este momento 6 de los más de 20 administradores que estamos detrás de toda la organización en la comunidad. Muchísimas gracias también a nuestro teacher José Ortega, quien ha estado detrás de toda la transmisión. Y nos vemos la próxima semana, English Teachers. Bye, bye.